Welcome once again to my urban farming channel. The reason why we're talking about urban farming is that, just as I said in my last video, was because we're not utilizing the amount of spaces that we do have in urban places. Yeah, there's so much urbanization going on, particularly in developing countries, where there is a mass influx of people to big cities and then making it cause what we call a bit of population explosion. But the truth is that you can actually utilize spaces within your environment to plant vegetables, like I said in the previous video, and then also help in terms of what we call subsistence farming. Farming can be divided into two agric. You've got commercial farming and you've got subsistence farming. So what we're basically trying to promote is subsistence farming, where people can actually just grow vegetables within their compounds or within their vicinity, so that there is food security. I am so interested in food security because sometimes when you look at pictures and videos coming from some countries, see a lot of young people going hungry, and the reason why people go hungry is because of lack of food security. So what we're trying to basically do on this channel is to encourage people to get into this dimension of just becoming an urban farmer. Like I said, it's for leisure, it can be for pleasure, it can be for fun, it can be for physical activity. For me, it is much more than that, and I want to see this revolution actually go across or cut across the different nations of the world. I'm sure some other people are doing the same thing that I'm doing. Someday, we might just connect. Today, I'm going to be preparing nursery plants of my legendary and futuristic tropical plant that is called onugu in my local dialect. In the botanical name, or in the botanical world, it is called Vanunia amigdalina. Vanunia amigdalina. Why do I always say it is legendary and futuristic? Because I know that a lot of pharmaceutical companies, particularly in Western Europe and Asia, are beginning to see the importance of this tropical leaf, which will sort of change the dynamics in the future of the world of pharmaceutical. I mean, it has a lot of benefits. I can't count the number of benefits that it has, in terms of human body. But we know that, as somebody said many years ago, that the man up there, God, actually made herbs for the service of man. Every herb is for the service of man. And every herb has got some medicinal content and value that can actually heal, that can actually change physical dynamics of people when they're going through some form of diseases. So welcome to my world of Vanunia amigdalina, which is onugu in my local dialect. So today what I'm going to basically be doing is to cut fresh stems, because I want to prepare much more nursery plants from the stems that I already have. If you look behind me, you will see the long onugu growing. So I'm just about to start cutting them one after the other. After cutting them, I've got some plastics here and a bit of clay pot. A bit of clay pot also that I'm going to use to grow new stems, and then just put them right here and then keep wetting them every day and then see how it goes. Definitely it will go well. So just watch me cut my onugu. Vanunia amigdalina. So I'm just going to cut one. My knife is not looking too sharp. Yeah, I've just cut one. Then I'm going to cut them into sizes and put them in the pot. The interesting thing about onugu or amigdalina, Vanunia amigdalina, is that it grows by stem. You don't need any seed or seedling to grow it. Just get a stem of it, chuck it in the ground. Yeah, and because I live currently in the Western world, where it is not readily available. If I have to buy the frozen one from the shop, where we buy some, African African food. I pay $12 for a sachet of this. But you know, I decided that I was just going to plant mine at home and see what it has become. See the number of stems. See the number of stems that I'm bringing out today. It's huge. By the time I replant all of these, it's going to have a multiplier effect. It's going to have a multiplier effect. Serious multiplier effect. Yeah. My knife is making me work so hard, but I'm loving it because it is also part of my physical conditioning. Yeah. That's the fun. The fun of being an urban farmer. Yeah. So I've been able to trim some of them into sizes. Let me do this one just beside me here. Then we'll cut them and put in these clay pots and plastic pots that I've got here. So I strongly believe that, you know, we can always cause a revolution. Remember growing up, one of the biggest multinational companies had an advert on TV that says tall oaks from little acorn grow. You know, the mighty oak tree that you see in the forest was a tiny acorn, almost the size of a corn. And so I'm going to watch this grow on a daily basis. We can all be complaining about food, and not do something about it. Now I'm just trying to contribute my own quota to causing a revolution out there in the world for people to see that, you know, you can actually grow your plants in little spaces. So now I've sort of finished cutting the onugu, the bitter leaf. It's called bitter leaf in English. Now look at the bunch that I came out with. Massive bunch of bitter leaf, onugu. Vanunia amigdalina, botanically. So I'm going to take off the leaf, which I'm not going to do right in front of you. And after taking off the leaf, then I'll show you where I begin to put them in those clay pots and plastic pots. Yeah, welcome back again to the second edition of urban farming. As you can see, I've got a basin full of bitter leaf here that I just cut from my little box garden here. And then, like I said initially, today I'm just going to be demonstrating what I'm about to do by planting more stem of the bitter leaf. So I've shredded or cut the stems into different sizes, as you can see. Now I'm just going to put them into the plastic pots and the clay pots that I have here. But before I do that, I need soil. And this is my soil. So this is the soil. Just take a bit of it and I'll put in the clay pot. You can use plastic bags if you can't afford the clay pots for whatever thing you want to grow behind your house or around the veranda. There's always a room for us to improvise in whatever we do. If you can afford anything, you can always find a way to improvise. I've got the plastic pots here also. I think I bought them for about 89, 90 cents each. But you can actually use plastic, plastics or polythene bags. like we say. So, but make sure you get the right soil for it, and make sure you wet it on a daily basis to nurture growth and to see it blossom. I really want this revolution to catch on across the world. That is the vision behind this, getting people to just utilize urban spaces and do some farming. I'm really enjoying this. You know, I get to do this sometimes over the weekends or early in the morning when I have to wet my vegetables and some of the things I have here. Like I said, I've got avocado. Oh, talking about avocado, you know, it's becoming one of the most important fruits across the globe. I remember just reading a report recently from East Africa, specifically Kenya and Uganda, where farmers are actually moving away from the cultivation and the focus on tea to avocado, because they're making so much money exporting them to Europe. So the avocado is becoming one of the most important fruits in the world today. Growing up in the city of Lagos and having to always travel down to the village during Christmas with my late father and my late mother, I know that the villagers, the people who live in the village or in the countryside, they call avocado the Englishman pear. Englishman pear. They particularly don't like it because there's a slight variation of the tropical one that is smaller in sizes that they prefer to consume or eat. So maybe I might just be passing a message across to people in Nigeria and people in other countries in Africa that avocado has become the new gold. So some of us might need to begin to plant it. I've got some here. In fact, I've given out a lot because it becomes a big tree and I can't have that behind the house here. So let's think about that as you think of urban farming. Those of you who have land, maybe in the outskirts of the city where you live, you can begin to think about planting avocados. It's good money, it's good for business, and it's good for the health. So I'm still just putting soil in the plastic containers, and after some time, we're going to move them from the plastic containers when they start growing. For now, because I'm encouraging people to get into urban farming, I give out a lot of the stuff that I produce here. But in the future, we're going to move from subsistence to commercial farming. But let's just enjoy it now while it lasts. Oh, there's so much joy I derive doing this. You know, many years ago, we had to live in the outskirts of Lagos, and we sort of had a farm. My dad always wanted to go to the farm every day. At that time, sometimes we actually reluctantly went with him. But there was a period in our lives where my mom was a major supplier of bitter leaf to one of the biggest markets in the city of Lagos. You know, mom will cut bitter leaf from the farm and supply to marketers in the market around where we used to live then in the city of Lagos. So this is me rekindling those days again, you know, in a little way, but I'm going to watch this grow and grow. So next thing I'm going to do now is to start putting the stems. Look at the stems. Like I told you, onugu grows by the stem, bitter leaf grows by the stem. See, I'm just chucking them in. But I need to chuck them in the right way. Yeah, this is beautiful. But there's not so much work when you plant things by the stem or through the stem, it's much easier. As long as you keep wetting them, onugu is very resistant. It can survive the harshest of conditions. Survives the harshest of conditions. So I'm chucking them in. Some of the pots can actually take 2, because we're going to be replanting them later. Put them in the soil later, or the earth later. Wow. I've got so much stem here that I'll just be looking forward to seeing them grow. And knowing that this is also going to revolutionize the pharmaceutical industry, which is already happening through research and development and scientific breakthrough. Remember, I had said that the man up there, God, made herbs for the service of man. So I want to encourage you to plant vegetables, plant as much as you can wherever you live. Utilize the urban spaces around you, your verandas, your deck, your backyard, and possibly you can look for a school around you. I know that when I went to high school, we had a Greek department where we always produce things in the school, but I don't know if that still happens today. Some schools are lying fallow. You can get into an agreement. If there's a school in your neighborhood or your street, get into an agreement, create boxes, garden boxes, and just plant things and monitor them and watch them grow. So this revolution of urban farming would definitely be something that we'll be looking into on a weekly basis. Thank you for watching my video. Cheers and have a wonderful week ahead of you. Bye-bye.